MaxBang. My name is Max, and I like to drink coffee. MaxBang is a half-hour hangout. So grab a cup of coffee, and how's your mother? Welcome back. What a week. Sorry, my apologies for not coming out on Monday morning. I know you guys appreciate your Monday morning MaxBang, but very busy weekend. My sister was in town. My sister was in town for Tuesday to Saturday, so most of a week. Not quite a full weekend. I think she's taking a class right now on Mondays. She graduated. Shout out to all the graduates out there. She's taking a class on Mondays, so she basically had flew out on Tuesday. We hung around nonstop for the next 3 or 4 days, and then kicked her back on Saturday. So she had a day to relax before her class again on Monday. Talk about an unbelievably fun couple of days. Right off the bat, I want to apologize. We got a lot of comments, a lot of tweets and stuff, a lot of messages about having Ricky on an episode of the Max Bang. She was not as much into it as we would have hoped, and we also did a magic trick video. So if you need some Ricky, first of all, follow me on Instagram. Second of all, go check out the magic video. It did really pretty well. Third of all, while we're here and while you're clicking stuff, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button right now. Excuse me. It was very, very fun having her out here. And it was fun for a couple of reasons. One is that it's always great to see her. It's always great to hang out with her. Two is I got to do a bunch of cool stuff, show her some cool stuff, take her to some cool places, stuff that I don't know if she's had a chance to do. For example, I took her to a Dollar Shave Club fancy LA party, a sponsored party. Hashtag spons. Well, first and foremost, when I picked her up, I took her to the YouTube Space. YouTube Space is a sort of a filmmaking haven in LA. There's one in LA, there's one in New York. I think there's one in Tokyo and London, maybe. But they basically set up like a recording studio of sorts. And we got to go hang there for the day. Wanted to film a little bit more than I ended up doing there, but we got a lot of work done. And then they had like an impromptu pizza party and VR headset demonstration thing. So it ended up being pretty cool. VR, good lord. I actually had 2 experiences with virtual reality this week. One was at the YouTube Space. We were just playing around with it. And 2 was my buddy's birthday. We went to a virtual reality gaming bar, GameStop hangout. If you've never done VR it's pretty fucking spectacular. You get this big old headset and you put it on, and you have the headphones and you got the 2 little hand thingies, and you look around and your environment changes. You know, you look around and you do stuff. It's pretty friggin' wild. It's a gaming experience that is just dwarfs regular gaming. You know, it's a fully immersive thing, and it's really exciting to be sort of on the cusp of something like that. And it was also pretty funny to like go to a gaming place. I mean, we used to go to the arcade, pump our quads in and play some fucking Mortal Kombat, some Street Fighter, some Double Dragons, maybe that Terminator game with the gun. You know what I mean? We used to cut class and go to the Dream Machine, which is the Quadas arcade, and just play a bunch of Simpson game or whatever. And then that sort of died when the home console came around, and you'd buy your own PlayStation or you'd buy your own Nintendo 64, whatever the hell it was. But now I think it's sort of coming back. Like, people aren't quite ready to buy the headset just yet, or they're not ready to invest in a gaming system just yet that's that intense. But it's coming, and it's going to be fucking awesome. And like most things, a lot of it is going to depend on the porn industry. I think whatever track the porn industry technologically, whatever direction they decide to go in, that will be how everything goes. Anyway, I digress. We did a lot of VR stuff. VR stuff's really cool. If you ever have the opportunity to do it, highly, highly recommend it. A lot of times people will say the word Oculus when describing it. For those of you that don't know, Oculus is one type of gaming, of a headset setup it's one provider of something for virtual reality. It's like calling mixed martial arts. It's like referring to it as UFC. UFC is one brand and probably the most famous version of mixed martial arts, but UFC does not equal mixed martial arts. Just like an eye people used to call like Kleenex is not exactly the exact type of nose tissue, or Xerox doesn't mean all types of copy, but it seemed like it was going that way. So if anybody ever asks you about VR or Oculus or whatever, just know that Oculus is one type of uh, way you can do VR. So anyway, we did a lot of cool stuff with virtual reality, and a lot of cool stuff is coming. So get really excited for that. I'm fucking pumped, fucking psyched for that. I'm psyched to go to school in virtual reality. I'm psyched. I'm like full Ready Player One mode. I'm ready for that in about 2 seconds. I don't want to ever interact with another human being ever again, if possible. God, can you imagine how great that would be? So one thing we did was we went to the art museum. We saw a bunch of art. It's very high class, fancy pants stuff. Not exactly the most fancy pants stuff, especially since, in my experience lately, art museums have sort of been co-opted by people who want to take Instagram pictures, like me. Like there's this one very famous one in LA called LACMA, Los Angeles County Museum of Art, I think, of art. And in reality, the only reason it's notable now is that every single Instagram famous person I know is doing Instagram pictures with, it's like a row of very it's a grid of lampposts, and you can stand inside of them and take some sort of a cool picture. And so everybody does that, including me. But now I find that art museums are sort of I wonder how much use it is. I always enjoyed them. I've been to a few. I remember every time I travel, I try to hit a museum or whatever that was there during the day, just because, like, I remember I traveled once and it was just me and my friend. We were sort of just kicking around, taking trains. We were in Eastern Europe. It was very scary. It was pre-Hostel, thank God. If I had seen Hostel, I never would have gone to anywhere. But the stuff that I did was Hostel level dangerous. Anyway, we would go and sort of every morning I'd wake up and be like, okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna do this museum, and then we're gonna eat lunch, and then we're gonna do that museum, and then tonight we're gonna get drunk, and it would be it'd be like super super fun. But I remember at one point she said to me like, man, I can't believe I've never been with someone who, or traveled with someone who's like dying to go to a museum every single day, or dying to like have a something like an activity every single day. And I was sort of like, well, the fuck not? Like, why haven't you been trying to do something every single day? Like, especially on vacation. You know, why wouldn't I want to hit that like sick museum? You know, imagine if you go to the museum. Imagine if you go to Rome and you don't see the Vatican, or imagine if you go to New York, you don't see Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, and people be like, "Oh, cool! Like that's the first thing they ask. Like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that?" You know, to me, the Vatican was still one of the coolest places I've ever been. That's a whole other side story. But why wouldn't you go see something every day? And then why wouldn't you go to a museum every day? I mean, the museum is that's the coolest shit we got. You know, that's the shit that for like hundreds and hundreds of years people have been trying to figure out what's our coolest stuff. Let's put it in a museum. Like why wouldn't you go do that shit? And anyway, highly recommend doing it. So I took Ricky to the museum. It was very fun. I took her to the Broad. There's one in LA. It's spelled Broad. I pronounce it the Broad. Some people pronounce it the Broad or the Broad to split the difference. Fucking broads. Friggin' broads. It was very fun. Their most famous one is they have this gigantic, what looks like a party balloon animal dog, but it's like as big as a house, or as big as an apartment. It's fucking big. Took a couple pictures with Ricky there. We got to see this infinity art light room. There's this one thing at the, so you check my Instagram for the picture because you end up taking a really fucking sweet picture. But there's one art installation called the Infinity Room or the Infinity Light Show or some shit like that. Definitely look it up on Instagram. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Infinity mirrored room at the Broad. And essentially what it is it's just hanging Christmas lights from the ceiling. And every all around you is mirrors. And I think you step onto a platform and so it goes beneath mirrors go beneath you as well. So anyway, in every direction it just goes off into infinity and there's just lights everywhere. Now, great art installation guy whose name I don't know. What do they choose to do with it? You have to sign up separate from your admission to the museum. You have to sign up for this thing, and the wait time is always over an hour. And you literally go in and you get like 40 seconds in this room. They open the door, they say, okay, you're good. And the guy's literally holding a fucking stopwatch like it's gym class in the 90s. And then he closes you in and you look around and it looks pretty cool. But then you take like a million pictures, obviously, because you only have 35 seconds left. And then he literally pulls the door open. He's like, all right, thanks, next. That's how, to me, that speaks to nothing more than the Instagram ability of that room. I mean, the whole point is you go in, you take a picture, you get out. And you got to get the hell out because there's somebody else that wants to go in there. And the wait time has been over an hour for this one little room. It's bananas. It's a cool room, but it has just like so clearly got an Instagrammable. Absolutely bananas. Anyway, we went to the Broad. We took our pictures. We did the whole thing. Totally worth it. Then we did the typical LA, the other typical LA thing. We did the hike up the mountain. LA is all about hiking. People love hiking. They think hiking is like the coolest form of exercise you can do, other than, starving yourself, smoking cigarettes. We did the hike. We went to the top of the mountain. It was pretty fun. Got a couple of cool pics. The most fun that we did, in my opinion, was I sort of organized a family dinner with me and my friends and my sister. Now, I have two friends out in LA that have known her whole life, my sister, and I've known them since I was 15 and one since I was 5. So organizing a big old family dinner is something that I hadn't really thought about a lot and I hadn't done a lot. But it's a really sort of fun way to get people together, get people hanging out, get people talking, get people that you might want to see together. So my suggestion for you guys for this week, try to organize a family dinner. And by family dinner, family is whatever you want it to be, whatever group you want to make it. For me, it was 4 or 5 other people that I've known that I really like out here. And we all got together and we went to this Korean barbecue place. It's called Duck. It's not really called Duck, but that's what we call it because the name is in Korean and none of us read Korean. But all they serve is duck and is the most fucking decadent, fatty, delicious meat and then they fry the rice in the duck fat that you just ate from their same grill. It's spectacular. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you're ever in LA, just look up the place called Duck or just DM me and I'll let you know where it is. So much food. So fucking good. Just spectacular. Anyway, organize a family dinner was very good. So my homework for you this week is to organize your family dinner. And then lastly, I got to take her to sort of a fancy LA party. It was actually sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. Shout out to Dollar Shave Club. They love inviting me to stuff, even though I have a huge beard. Uh, they just came out with this. You go to these weird parties and they're so clearly trying to get you to focus on the product that they just came out with. So much so that they're coming up with new and inventive ways to get you to interact with the product and I guess take a picture of it and post and tweet about it or whatever. So this one at least was fun because they always have really good food, they always have really good drinks, and they always have like fun sort of little activities to do. So I brought my sister to these because she could do all these activities. It was really fun. The fun one she did was, let's see, what did they do? They had a lie detector test. That was really fun. We put Ricky on there. She was like, and they were like, "Who's your favorite uh, brother?" or who's your favorite person sibling? And they were like, she was like Max, obviously. And I was like, okay, well, you don't have to lie. She did. They did this other one where you ring a bell and a hand would pop out from behind like a fake wall. It was like a grass. It was like a bush, and white gloved hand would pop out and hold the deodorant so you could smell the deodorant. It's called groundskeeper. So there's all these tennis and grass, or I'm sorry, groundskeeper, lawn maintenance, grass, tennis balls, like all this sort of grass infused events. It was very funny. Um, there was a guy doing. You could get your own personalized butt wipes. Very cool. Anyway, shout out to Dollar Shave Club. The other funny thing about going to these parties is you just realize that there's certain companies that just like have money, like an inordinate, like way more money than you as an individual would have. I felt like when I went to the Facebook offices, when I go to these Google, YouTube website or YouTube offices or whatever, I'm just like, damn, you guys got some cash. Damn. But anyway, they're like silly things to go to. So anyway, there's silly things to go to, but it's fun to like bring. It was fun to bring Ricky to one of those. So the okay. Also, shout out to everyone eating alone. The eating alone crew, or the people eating alone. The peas. I love it. Oh, your office tip. Oof. Office tip of the week. This is a tough one because it's simple. This one's a simple one actually, but it is so incredibly effective. I can't even tell you. You are in an office and you have a desk, presumably, and presumably you have a chair. Now, my tip for you this week is you take a jacket, whatever kind of jacket you have, a sweater, a light track jacket, or whatever, something that you can sort of just leave there, and you drape it on the outside of your chair. You just put the jacket on the back of the chair. Now, you never take that jacket off the chair, or you never fail to have that jacket on the chair. What I should say is you never fail to have a jacket on the chair. Here's why. So much of this stuff is you if you have any shred of privacy, like the office life is all about diminishing your privacy as much as they can. Now, what you want to do is maximize your privacy because you don't want people knowing when you're working and when you're slacking off, because it works both ways, right? If if you're working, you want people to just leave you the fuck alone, and if you want to not work, you don't want anybody to know that. So all these tips or a lot of these tips are sort of about maintaining your personal space. So you put a jacket on the chair, and fucking nobody knows if you're there. They don't know if you're in the office. They don't know if you're in the bathroom. They don't know if you like haven't come in yet. They don't know if like you're out to lunch. Having a jacket on your chair makes such a huge difference because people don't know where you are or what you're doing, or if you're in the kitchen getting something to eat. Maybe you're still at home in bed. They don't fucking know, and you know what? They don't deserve to know because it's your personal space. So have a jacket on your chair. That's your office tip of the week. Personal favorite. If you guys have any, leave them in the comments below. Wanted to get to a couple of comments from last week. First and foremost, Amanda, I passed my test and move on to the interview process. Congratulations. Please keep us updated on that. Question for you. Do you ever get hairs coming out of your beard when you play with it? Like us girls are always shedding hair. I'm curious to see if it happens in beards too. Really long answer, but short version is yes, I have hairs that pop out. Before I grew a beard, I've never had long hair, so I didn't know anything about hair care whatsoever. I didn't use any products on my head hair. Now I have a billion pounds of beard product. Some new company sends me a beard balm or a beard oil or a beard conditioner or beard shampoo or fucking whatever. A new company pops up literally every week and sends me a new one. Almost to the point. Spoilers. Again, this is for the inside scoop here for the Banger Crew. At some point, I thought about starting my own beard care company because so many companies have popped up to me and be like, "This is how you do it." No, this is how you do it. And I'm like, "Look, guy, I have the beard. Why am I promoting your company? Why don't I just potentially start my own?" I'm not sure if that's going to happen. If you have any tips or suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. Uh, One thing I hadn't really thought about before or until I met one of my friends is a makeup or a beauty guru, and she taught me this trick on how to find split ends. You take your hair and you put it between two fingers, or excuse me, you weave it between three fingers, and then you can sort of look down and you see the edges as they pop up. And you can see clearly, especially if you put it like with a white background behind, you can see clearly which hairs pop up as split ends. And you just trim them off like that. And that's something that I hadn't ever tried before, and I'd never done it before. And she was showing it obviously for girls' long hair. Now I do it with my beard hair because it's great to get rid of split ends, fantastic. But it has given me a whole new like thing to be worried about on my appearance that I'd never had before. So fantastic. Thanks a bunch. Also, fuck you. It also gave me somewhat of an appreciation for how much you gals put into your looks. And another funny story. I always thought it was kind of silly, and I always sort of felt bad for you guys, you girls, I should say, because I'm like, man, I don't really do anything to change my appearance. And if I want to go to a bar, I'll put some pants on. Or if I want to just leave the house, I'll do whatever. And I always think like, yeah, I don't have to do anything to get ready to go out, and I look fine. And I felt bad for you guys because it was like, oh, I want to go to a bar, oh, but I need like half an hour to get ready or an hour to get ready or whatever. I mean, I've had friends of mine, I've been around girl people that need hours plus to get ready, and it's a fucking nightmare. Conversely, and this is something I hadn't really ever thought of until a friend was over, and she said it's it's sort of exciting to her. She looked at it from the completely opposite perspective. She said, like, yeah, I can look like trash right now, but I know that you give me an hour or two, and my upside, my potential for how good I can look is fucking through the roof. And so she looked at it like, man, I feel so bad for guys because like guys see themselves and that's as good as they're ever gonna look. Whereas she could see herself and she was, even though she in her brain thinks I don't look that great right now, I could fucking look spectacular, and that's exciting. That was a cool thought. That was a really cool thought that I like. It never zipped into my brain, like to look at it from the other perspective. I was always like, man, sucks, dude. Like I never look that. I never look as bad as you guys. Some girls think they look, but I guess I never look as good. Why don't you take it from the other perspective? Very very interesting little brain pretzel there. And last but not least, I think we're gonna leave this. We're gonna leave on this one. I took Ricky to see Shazam. Very cool movie, and it was actually a lot of fun. Even though Shazam's not one of my favorite characters, and it was a really good warm up for Avengers Endgame. And Avengers Endgame is the movie that I'm absolutely fucking obsessed with, and I cannot wait for that one to come out. But Shazam was pretty good. Really fun. If you go see it, go see it. The bad guy, Mark Strong, is like a terrific bad guy. And he's the bad guy in almost everything. The only other guy is Ben Mendelsohn, who's the bad guy in like every other movie. He's bad guy in Star Wars. He's bad guy in Batman. He's bad guy in Captain Marvel. Sort of spoilers. And he's just like he's just always like a menacing bad. He's the bad guy in Ready Player One. Full circle. Bringing it back. VR. How you doing? Anyway, Mark Strong is the bad guy in like every other movie that I can think of. Green Lantern and Sherlock Holmes And anyway, his fucking voice is fucking so scary. He could just sit there and say his own name and be terrifying. Max, no sleeves. Max, no sleeves. Fucking terrifying. But the most fun part about seeing the movie, and this is what I hope is the same for me, but also what I imagine is not. Ricky fucking loved it, and she's into all this shit, and she knew everybody. And so 2/3 of the time when I'm watching the movie, I'm just like looking over at Ricky and seeing like how happy she is and how she's like, oh my god, they're doing that thing that I didn't think they would do, but I knew it because I'm on the inside and blah blah blah. Like I find one of the things I find the most satisfying, and it's sort of changed my perspective on a lot of fandoms. Uh, what I find satisfying is when somebody really likes something. That to me, that is very fun for me. So, for example, I never liked Harry Potter. I thought it was like whatever. I just didn't get into it. But the people that I know that are so into it, that gives me pleasure, and that like makes me happy. And that's like it's fun to be around them when they're all excited about this, that, or the other thing. And that's why I almost never like universally pan something just because I don't like it. Hunger Games, whatever. It was all right, but I'm not gonna say it sucked. A, because just because I don't get it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't love it, and B, like it's fun to be around. Like a billion people like it, there must be something fun about it, and C, it's fun to be around those people who like it so much. So next time you're sort of making fun of a fandom, maybe you just like shut the fuck up about it a little bit, and try to appreciate it or find a way to appreciate it because it's just a way more fun way to do it. So while we're here, make sure to like the page so while we're here, make sure to subscribe to the page, like this video. Let me know what you think about what your favorite fandom is, and that's gonna do it for this episode of the Max Bang. Keep banging.